As you have seen, I've spoken about it earlier that ChatGPT was such a compelling product for people because it started doing Q&A and you were feeling like you're talking to an expert on the other side. It was so compelling in 2023 that people moved their data to the app. 2023-24, we said, here are co-pilot or co-creators inside your app. So you need not to take your data to ChatGPT. This is where you have seen co-pilots from Microsoft got released, AWS released something, and then every product has a Q&A interface right there in the product. Salome is expert. She has worked in Stanford. She's co-founder of Movdex, which has helped already 100 plus companies to design better products and actually bring them to life, 0 to 1. She focuses a lot on design and how to design the right products that actually people use. Salome will walk us through like top learnings she has by working specifically in design.
First, trust and reliability. So often when people build the products and product managers are very attuned to creating really good, nice looking products, and we'll discuss with UX UI team, we'll go to our marketing team, we'll have lots of discussions with our engineers and the back and forth. But potentially the last thing we may be thinking about is the trust and reliability and maybe not the sexy parts of building a product.
Good morning. Thank you, first of all, for joining. I think we can get started. Always, we have a lot to cover today. It's not only my show today. That's the secret today. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of cool things, but one cool thing today we're going to talk about is design essentials to succeed in AI first products. By the way, if you don't know me, I'm Mahesh. I have worked in all large companies. I think that's my claim to fame. But I do these sessions every Friday to bring all the top of mind AI things for product managers and also help this community. We teach a course as well where you can go and learn how to become an awesome AI PM. So before we go forward, let me tell you like what happened in design for me, specifically AI specific design. As you have seen, I've spoken about it earlier that ChatGPT was such a compelling product for people because it started doing Q&A and you were feeling like you're talking to an expert on the other side. It was so compelling in 2023 that people moved their data to the app. 2023-24, we said, here are co-pilot or these co-creators inside your app. So you need not to take your data to ChatGPT. This is where you have seen co-pilots from Microsoft got released, AWS released something, and then every product has a Q&A interface right there in the product. And then we said in 2024, we said, actually, Q&As only have limited capabilities. How can we actually give agents which can solve problems, do actions, and change the state of the world? And that became the next frontier, which brought in automation, code assist, and code writing agent. This is where you have seen tools like Replit, V0 come to life. And then we came to 2025, where we said, okay, maybe full automation is possible with AI agents. And then we're creating vertical agents for sales, for support, for even legal tasks. But what is how the design is evolving? And I wanted to show you that. And we don't discuss a lot of like design specific thing. So I thought maybe we cover that in like maybe this session. And if there is a need, we can do more sessions on design. So this is our old way of doing things, right? If you, let's say you have a job, which is you want to know the best course for agentic AI for PMs, you will write a query like this. Then you get these blue sponsored links, which you ideally should ignore. And then I will just ignore this AI overview. Then you get video links, which you can watch. Still didn't answer your question. Then you go to discussion. Maybe you don't want. And then you actually start having some of these links, which are actually valid. By the way, this is our link. So you can go and get the best certification. But this is the journey before, or this is the design for getting an information that you need. And this has evolved since when ChatGPT came along. So there is a new experience in town now with ChatGPT. With if you want to go and see that experience, you can actually go and I will just run it to 2x speed. This is why we recorded it. Otherwise, I would have shown you. So if you go, you ask the same question, it says, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. and here is my results. It basically answers your question, gives you why you should, and become an advisor. And now it's just still rating us the top, and then it talks about what you should look for, and then here is my suggestion, which is of course our course. But then there was another experience that got unlocked in 2024, 2020, early 2025 for me, which was Manas or Devin experience. They went even one step forward. And what they did is you ask the same question. This is Manas, where you can go and Manas, by the way, I always pronounce it as if this is a person. So you say, do a research and find the best tool out there, or best course for agentic AI PM. And you will see this experience is different because it brings you in, it says what it is doing, and then it says Manus computer, and you can actually transparently see what it is doing. If you click on it, it shows that it's going to different browsers, it's doing its research, and you can watch it. I'm browsing this, I'm going to this, and you can just see all the work that it's going behind the scenes and doing. So you build the confidence on the report that it will generate eventually. So these are like 3 or 4 patterns I have seen in design. One is how to make the best Q&A experience, and then how to take it further if you're building agents, then how, because agent does background tasks, how to bring that background task to forefront without overwhelming the user. And there are more to it. Like this is not just that simple. And I've seen, like, when we build products, especially in the cohort where we run these examples, and then people have a lot of questions around design. Today, I have an expert for you. Salome is like Mira introduced us to Salome. Salome is expert. She has worked in Stanford. She's co-founder of Maudex, which has helped already 100 plus companies to design better products and actually bring them to life, 0 to 1. And she focuses a lot on design and how to design the right products that actually people use. Salome will walk us through like top learnings she has by working specifically in design. And then we will have a roundtable questions. And then maybe we'll open up for your questions in last 10-15 minutes.
I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me. It's a joy to be here today. Hi, everyone. I see everyone is connecting from all around the world. So it's even more exciting to have this global community present today and to talk about creating AI that sticks, that people love, and products that people end up using, not just one time, but many, many times. Perfect. I'll do a quick round of intro. As Mahesh said, I'm Salome, co-founder of Movadex. I've co-founded that 8 years ago with a huge passion to build products, to help people build products and bring their ideas to life. We started at 18-year-olds, both me and my co-founder. So you can fill in the blanks how scary that was, but looking back, it did require lots of courage, but that passion pushed us through. And then AI came, and AI bubble bursted, and so we've, as all have done, also transitioned to supporting companies with launching their AI products. We've created our own frameworks that have been then widely adopted in VCs and startups and all ecosystems around the world. But at the same time, we were able to see in real life what products ended up being used, what products never were adopted by users, and which companies ended up being successful and not. So through that journey, we had this incredible revelation of why this is happening. And so that's why most of our expertise is really centered around not just building these products, but designing. And I hope to walk you through today these essentials that support all companies in designing their products. I'm going to give you 3 pillars really quickly, and then we can go into discussion after. So first, trust and reliability. So often when people build the products, and product managers are very attuned to creating really good, nice looking products, and we'll discuss with UX UI team, we'll go to our marketing team, we'll have lots of discussions with our engineers and the back and forth. But potentially the last thing we may be thinking about is the trust and reliability, and maybe not the sexy parts of building a product. And the reason why we overlook that is because we don't necessarily think or treat those little letters that we see on each of the product as most significant. But it actually turns out through the research that without trust, your users, you'll have lots of impulse buyers, but their fear of not understanding what is happening and the fear of biased outcomes will result in them dropping out of your platform. And so that's why most of the AI first products, they fail exactly due to that so-called trust deficit. And so your task as a product builder and your teams overall is to manage that transparency and overpromising and find that really good middle center where you will find a good balance for your users and for your product. Now, another thing is we identified core practices in 2025, but I always use that as a disclaimer. Those were not core practices at the beginning of 2025, nor during the summer. They just literally, they are changing. So whatever you see on this deck, take it with a grain of salt that it is adapting, but I will give you a way to overcome that ever-changing, very accelerating AI adoption rate. So let's talk about calibration and expectation setting. At onboarding, you'll have to clearly state AI scope. What are the known limitations? What are we looking at? What are the confidence levels? Either include those confidence levels or not, but just be extremely transparent to your user. You want to have a confidence feedback UI through which you show those confidence scores, through which you give prediction certainty, or even ranges just to support users' understanding of the entire LLM model under the product. And then third is the progressive reliability improvements. So start with low risk automation and only then gradually build. Very often we are inclined to just build, launch, and show, and then dump all that information on the user and believe that they will acquire all the skills and go through onboarding quickly and won't have any issues. The truth is that unfortunately, the behavior of users due to the changing way we consume the content and information to begin with has changed so much that the attention span is about 3 seconds or 5 seconds. And not only are you losing them at onboarding, you're also not, if you're not hooking them, not giving them enough personalization, they again just very quickly fade off. So you need to account for that. And the best, most elegant way I've seen of that being done is exactly that gradual opening, right? So like you just get onboarded and it's a very simple version. And then they say, you've unlocked this new feature. Do you want to try that? Yes or no? And then through these feedback loops and through these surveys within that tool and gradual kind of making the product gradually more complex for that user, you're getting so much value through their feedback that you can then reincorporate and reimprove further. And last but not the least is the error transparency and fallback path. So don't hide mistakes. AI makes mistakes. We've all seen them. I think we're getting more and more accustomed to that fact. AI will get better, but our idea as product builders is to clearly highlight that there is potential for a mistake. And then if that happens, we have a fallback, we have a request to user review, we have overrides in place. And if we need to, we have a way for them to connect. I did a very similar discussion like a few months ago at a conference here in the Bay Area, and we literally just talked about ethical AI, but in the context of enterprise software. One of the things that we discussed there was exactly how we allow users to override and how we get to human support. And in that case, I was using Klarna as an example, as a case study for us to review, and how AI helped them boom, but also kind of reduced that human interaction that in the end had its own consequences too. Just quickly to walk through, we have two cases here. One is Gemini. It gives you, and as many other LLM tools also do, different options. And then Grammarly, very elegant. I still use it today. It has such a nice way. It's like almost like Duolingo's OWL. It will never make you feel bad for your mistakes, but rather try and help you grow. Same way with Grammarly. I just inputted that huge sum of text to it a few days ago. It was already had gone through Claude, but Grammarly had like 100 different underlines of like what we need to improve. And the way it was presented, it was in no way interfering. And I really appreciated that elegant user discussion they had. And it kind of gave me that both trust and reliability for me to continue using Grammarly. And just one example to go. Another one is pillar of transparency and digestible explainability. And we can spend an entire session on this, but if I am to give like a good takeaway, is you need to have internal display of why and how the information got there. We need to show them the risk. We need to give even lightweight explanations so that we reduce the cognitive load. And again, the balance here from the first pillar, kind of similarly here, you're trying to figure out whether to give too little simplicity or too much sufficiency. So you're trying to avoid black box and not overwhelm. And for this, again, case studies are good for you to download. And I guess the trick I was wanted to mention too is just download all the products out there that are within your niche, within your space, and see what they do. And you have to not download them, but use them regularly. I would say monthly, because that's how quickly they'll be iterating, and you'll see what are the practices that are used across the board within your competitor segment. But then also another great tool is to go outside of your field and outside of your area of expertise. So if you're in fintech, go and check out ed tech products or healthcare products, see what they're doing, because so often they have potentially cracked the code for getting that trust into their products, but fintech has not yet adopted, and you could be that first person to make that adoption. And then core practices here, we're looking at layered explanations, right? So we go general, feature, and then decision. In that case, it's like general statement of AI use, and then we would go to explanation of per feature context, and then the per output reasoning. So that's a very sleek way to just give that explanation that doesn't get users very overwhelmed. And then progressive disclosure UI. So why did you choose X? Buttons, we have hover states and so on. We have user-centric language, which is we avoiding math, jargon, anything too technical, right? So we are suggesting this because, or this is why you see this output. And the more personalized you can make it, the better the user will feel in the end of the day. And that's what you're trying to make happen. And then last but not the least is the visual explanation aids. We're trying to use anything in your power, but I go with even like simplified graphs or bar charts or decision paths, really anything, just to highlight top factors that made that product possible. I have here for you is Copilot. Again, how did I get this? And then it shows key prompts and tokens and weightings for each. And then Notion AI very nicely says, I based this on your earlier note writing style. And then again, it just feels very user-friendly and user-specific. And last but not the least is the third pillar, which is human agency and steering. Let users drive. It's the, I guess, the hardest part for founders, and I work mostly with founders, but also for anyone across the team, is to let the user drive, because we feel like we've created this product. That's our baby. We know how it works. We are the experts. We know this product will make you feel better, or we know this product will help you. So naturally, we are inclined to impose our view of the product vision on them, on our users. But doing the other way around is what helps you make your product users, turn them into your product champions, right? So we're looking at making users less frustrated when they feel out of control. And if AI fails, they know why it failed, or at least they have the tools to regulate that. And most recently, we're also seeing that there are new kind of, and it's ever evolving, but regulatory and ethical norms are demanding user override and human in the loop for sensitive domains. And I will think that it's going to be more and more up to date there. So here, you're going to look at automation versus control. You're trying to, again, find the balance between over automating, which disempowers, and under automating, which under delivers. Core practices to look out for here are progressive automate opt-in modes. So begin with suggestions and then allow users to enable auto mode later, or again, gradually open it up for them. Custom controls and sliders, you need to let users adjust how AI works with them. So very interesting. I was just reviewing this deck before we started this podcast, and yesterday I tried Sora 2, and I think most of you already have by now. And what's impressive is, if you know Sora and if you know Midjourney, you will see this striking difference in the product, right? Sora 2 has this box, ChatGPT input, and it has a plus sign, so you can add any images, and then the only one toggle button, which is you can choose orientation, which is landscape or portrait, and then you just send that. And it puts them in drafts, and then all of a sudden you're an AI creator, and then there are lots of AI creators there right now. On Midjourney, which is specialized in creating AI and photos and videos, you hop on, you'll see the same thing, but then when you click on the customization buttons, you'll have more than 10 options available for different complexity levels, for different models used, for different levels of creativity, and on and on and on. I think these are two great examples of very successful products, and one has a real simplicity and the other has real complexity, but both work great, which leads me to say the AI users in today's age will have different behavioral patterns and mental models through which they operate. Your goal is to find the fit with the ones that would be best for your product, and the product would be best fit for them. Example kind of to show that both work. Another is undo, override, and fallback. Kind of touches on the second pillar, but it's about always supporting rollback and undo options, editing suggested output, rejecting AI intervention, essentially giving the power to the user so that they can control how they use it. And it gives you that feedback, that insight into user journeys. Like if you like post hog all of your product, or like in general, put any analytic tool behind it just to see where they spend most of the time, where frustration is happening. And again, another huge discussion topic. And last is user feedback tools, right? So we ask them questions and don't expect them to answer, but was this helpful? Did you like this? Please provide feedback to ChatGPT, and you most likely have seen that too. And good examples here are Figma AI tool, which lets designers, engineers accept, ignore, or regenerate suggestions. Jasper, which allows you to essentially modify how much more creative or casual your content would be, and more of those, again, as would be a great tool to show here. And then to finish off, and then we can go to our Q&A session. If I were to give you a little piece of wisdom, I would say create a trust audit already for your product. And it's, again, not the sexiest thing to do as a project manager or for anyone on the team, really. You're all working on this great product and solving next world's biggest challenges. But trust audit will help you create the product that sticks. You can create it for your own product, so it doesn't have to be like follow a certain set of rules or guidelines or frameworks, but it needs to be centered around the journey that user will go walk through, right? So you're trying to define your trust and adoption metrics. You can do that with your marketing team, your design team. You can do it just through understanding what are the feature exception rates or what are the feedback loops that we're getting, and so on and so forth. But mapping that right now gives you the ability to get so much feedback and knowledge that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. And then the next are just like kind of how you would iterate, right? So like prioritize explainability. You can build control UI components early on so you don't have to integrate them later. You need to integrate feedback and correction loops. Don't ask for feedback if you don't plan to implement it, right? So be very specific about how and who you ask your feedback to. And if you do, and if it's an extended feedback, make sure that you act on it. And then experiment. Anything and everything can be so easily identified just through A/B tests. And to finish off, AI first is definitely the future, but design still remains the gate. Today, we can discuss further about how we build with trust, with user agency, and how we ensure that users actually adopt and use our products. This is my email and also my LinkedIn. I hope that you can reach out, but I'll stop sharing here and then come back to the room, and hopefully we can kick off our discussion on the product journeys and design essentials.
We think it's still in bad hands, and OpenAI maybe have done it, but we are branching out because OpenAI is not caring about how much security and safety we need to put in AI, and that's the mission. So they became Pentagonia of AI, the Gen AI at that time, and actually build a $200 billion company out of that idea because people care about that, like their core pillars. Is this the next tech unblock? Is it safe? Can I use it? And I think you talked about all these pillars. Like first one is, hey, can I trust it? Is it safe? Second is, can I use it? When I use it, does it bring me along, or just says, I'm taking your job, you go away? Or here is how we work together. That working together experience needs to come because I don't know, you know it or not, but there is no I think there is always this supplement story in AI. And one question I have is just looking at the patterns, right? What's the next design unlock? we talk a lot about like what's the new capability unlock. We talk about MCP server or agent talking to agent and doing commerce and other things. But if we talk about design, what are you looking at, and what's the next thing, especially in the transparency section? Because as agents get into different verticals, we have in a company we have three personas. Let's take, you're doing back office, lawyer, agent, or legal tasks as an example. The CEO wants to have very bare minimum. They want to give a question, get an answer, and trust it 100%. Doesn't want to do anything else. They have like 1 minute, as you rightly said, like 30-second span, and they don't care. If it is not working, they're not buying the product. But the lawyer or the general counsel in the company wants to know everything. And then you have this developer who used to work, wants to see even your logs, your prompts, if you want to show them. They just want to know all your architecture. And by the way, all three needs to be convinced before you can get a check back from the company. So you have these three personas, and I get into this challenge of, okay, I serve this one, but then I can't serve the developer one. I start serving the developer, but I can't serve the CEO anymore. And you put this layered approach, but I think it's getting a little complex as you get into deployment and especially vertical agents. And I just wanted to know, like, is this a pattern, and are we doing something in design about that? I know layering is like there, but I want to just scratch the surface and see if there is a better way, or are there patterns which we can copy paste?
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thanks, Mahesh. Thanks, Salome. It was a great session. And I'm looking forward to seeing where, this empowerment is going to go over the next 12 months.
Yeah, I think we need to have a cohort, a week-long lesson just on design. And Salome, you should design it. That's my takeaway.
I'll bring my design team, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who stayed to this very end. I know it's a loaded topic. There's a lot to discuss, and I'm really thankful to be here. Mahesh, you're creating a wonderful community of people that are really thinking and are behind next best products out there. So it is a privilege and honor to be here. And thank you again. Thank you, your team. Thank you, Mira. Really excited. And please connect on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thanks, guys. You have a great
day. Thanks, folks. Thank you for making this possible. We'll see you next Friday again.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.